Welcome back to Not So Radical. I'm your host, Peter, and today we're talking about Joe Biden's cognitive decline. Now, in this first video, I'm going to show you from Fox News, Ronnie Jackson. He's a former White House physician for Trump as well as Obama. Um, so let's see what he has to say.
Former White House physician, current Texas Congressman Ronnie Jackson is calling on President Sippy Cup Joe Biden to undergo a cognitive test. You might recall Donald Trump did and passed with flying colors. And by the way, then to share the results with you, the American people. Here to explain, Republican Congressman and doctor from Texas, Ronnie Jackson. All right, you saw what happened at the G7. We've been watching this unfold. And then you see these flashes of real anger. You know, are you a junkie? You know, come on, man. And what happened with Caitlin Collins? Do you suspect what many Americans suspect, that he's cognitively weak and in decline?
Absolutely, Sean. You know, after this most recent embarrassing performance overseas, I thought it was time to come out. We can't sit on this any longer. I've been saying this for a year and a half, Sean. I took care of 3 presidents over 15 years in the White House, including being a physician to the president for both Barack Obama and Donald J. Trump. And, you know, I know what the rigors of this job are, both physically and cognitively. It's demanding. And after this performance, I mean, we've been seeing this for a year and a half now. I've been saying that Joe Biden is not, he's not physically or cognitively fit to be our president right now. And I just think that he's not inspiring confidence in the American people. He's not inspiring confidence.
Now, that's a, a former White House physician that served for Democrat and Republican alike politicians. Now, I think he's pretty unbiased in that sense when it comes to the medical field. But this is all in relation to the G7 conference that happened. Now, I just want to say, from his many outbursts, now at the G7 there was a couple outbursts. I just mean many in general, but his outbursts at the G7, he was talking about he confused Libya and Syria. Let's listen to this real quick.
Where we could work together with Russia. For example, in Libya, we should be opening up the passes to be able to go through and provide food assistance and vital assistance to a population that's in real trouble.
Now, aside from having cue cards and also confusing Libya for Syria, I mean, it's a big hiccup there, Joe. Let's see. He also told reporters he's only been president for 120 days.
When you're having these conversations with European allies who are very concerned about these sanctions, how do you justify that? And what are your plans to
120 days. Give me a break. Need time.
Now, he's actually been president for 145 days at that time. He made that statement. But besides that, he's had many outbursts and gaffes in relation to even when he was asked from Charlemagne the God on the Breakfast Club. He's like, we got more questions, and then he goes down, and I'm telling you, Joe Biden said, well, I'm telling you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. That was sparked some backlash from right and left. Senator Tim Scott said that's condescending comment, most arrogant and condescending comment he's made in a long time. We have this when the guy asks him about taking away his Second Amendment rights, and he goes, you're full of shit. It seems like when he doesn't have an answer to a question, when he called this woman a lying dog-faced pony soldier in 2020. Let's go through this real quick. How can you explain the performance in Iowa? Why should the voters believe you could win the national election? Madison Moore, a 21-year-old college student, at a campaign stop in Hampton, New Hampshire. Ever been to a caucus? Biden challenged her. Moore nodded yes. No, you haven't. He told the dumbfounded young woman, you're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. Now, I'm speaking from a person who watched their grandmother go through the stages of dementia and slowly lose her mind. And now, for my personal opinion, my grandmother, when she didn't have the answer to the question or was having trouble remembering something or trying to figure something out, she would always have those random outbursts of anger and just backlash and just say something just totally random or just out there. I need 2020, go vote for someone else is the part of this. Now, this is from the New York Post. You ought to go out and vote for someone else. The irritated frontrunner told Ed Fallon, who lobbied Biden to denounce a proposed gas pipeline. It grew increasingly tense. Biden patted Fallon's chest, jabbed him with a finger, and grabbed his jacket with both hands. As H tried desperately to defuse the exchange, it was not an appropriate interaction with anybody. If I had done that to him, security would have been all over me. Yeah, and besides that, I mean, that just random outburst of anger. I mean, from saying that, and also the way you're grabbing and, you know, latching onto somebody like that you don't, I mean, that's not something the way you approach somebody. That's coming from a place of anger. Aside from him always going out and saying, oh, if if me and Trump were younger, I'll take him out around the playground and, you know, beat him up. He said that numerous times about several people. But aside from one of the main reasons why the possibility of him having a dementia or being cognitively insufficient to run this country, it's one of the biggest national security risks I've seen in a long time. If you ask me, that's my personal opinion. But let's see what other countries, such as a media network that has 1.8 million subscribers on YouTube from Australia, has to say about it. What do other countries think about the president, aside from the American people?
They get worse. Seriously, his staff probably can't wait to get him home to bed in the White House. But before he does that, the president has to go face to face with Russian President Vladimir Putin, which is a big worry given what I'm about to show you. And believe me, most of the media just doesn't show you this stuff. Now, some of these clips are a bit long, but I want you to get a proper sense of what's going on here, a proper sense of how the US president is handling it. First up, top of the agenda between Joe Biden and Vladimir Putin ought to be Syria. But in the lead up, the US president seems to confuse that country with Libya.
I showed you that earlier. We don't need to watch that again.
For example, and rebuilding of you can't do that. For example, in Libya.
Let's get his reaction to it.
Or Syria. Does he know? Wow.
I don't think he knows the difference
Putin must
between
be
them.
Trembling in his boots, hey, on the eve of this summit. We seem to have gone from Russian collusion to Russian delusion. Because just have a listen to how Joe Biden responds to this question about how he's described Vladimir Putin in the past.
In a weekend interview, Vladimir Putin laughed at the suggestion that you had called him a killer. Is that still your belief, sir, that he is a killer? And I'll continue the trend if you don't mind of asking a
Let's see how
second
long
question.
his response takes. Let's see how long his response takes. It's 2 minutes 47 seconds.
Believe if he does agree to cooperate, then what kind of a challenge do you find yourself in? How would you ever trust him? And if Ronald Reagan said trust but verify, what do you say to Vladimir Putin?
All right, I'll give him a fair time. 3 minutes.
To answer the first question, I'm laughing too. They actually, well, look, I mean, he has made clear that
you can hear a pin drop.
the answer is, I believe he has in the past essentially acknowledged that he was, there are certain things that he would do or did do. But look, when I was asked that question on air, I answered it honestly. But it's not much of a, I don't think it matters a whole lot in terms of this next meeting we're about to have.
Took him 47 seconds to basically say nothing and be like, well, I'm not really sure. Just kind of lost, and without cue cards or a teleprompter to read off of, it's like, I don't know, just staring like a deer in headlights. It's bad.
Oh, if you could just draw all that together, I guess he's saying, yeah, he is a killer, but that doesn't matter now. Gee, it's more than awkward, isn't it? Biden's going to be representing the interests of the free world when he confronts the belligerent Russian president in their Geneva summit tomorrow. And it's hardly shaping up as Rocky Balboa versus Ivan Drago, is it? I said before the election that the Biden campaign had all the hallmarks of a weekend at Bernie's effort. Now he leads the free world. Biden has...
Yeah, I mean, other countries are laughing at us. Other countries aren't taking us seriously. We have a president, in my eyes, that's cognitively on a serious decline, and something should be done about it. Something needs to be done about it. Some kind of thorough cognitive test, because he's clearly not all there. It's getting bad. Like I said, I've seen that kind of behavior with my grandmother. I experienced from, the beginning of it, from when she was perfectly cognitive to the time she was completely gone. And you know what I mean? It just was random outbursts all the time, confusion, anger, just lost. Like I said, a deer in headlights. And it's not right for his wife, his kids, for anybody to put him through that. I mean, people around him that know this is going on, I'm not sure if they're just using him as a puppet, but they sure as hell know what's going on. But that's it for today's video. So let me know what you think. Do you think Joe Biden's cognitively on a decline? Do you think he's dementia's growing? Does he have it? I mean, let me know what you guys think, because this is a real concern of mine, and one of the biggest national security risks I think we've ever had is a president that doesn't know what's going on half the time. I mean, how can you lead a whole country when you know what's going on? But don't forget to like and subscribe, and hey, let's share this video, get that stuff out there. Let's try to meet in the middle about things, call out what's going on the right and left, bad or good. We need to come together as people. But all right, take care.